I paid for my stepdaughter's dream wedding in Hawaii, but my wife forgot my plane ticket on purpose, so her lover could walk her down the aisle. When I filed for divorce, the threats that followed shocked me. Hello Reddit I+ here. I never thought I would be the kind of person posting here. I was always the fixer, the peacemaker, the guy who believed loyalty could be bought with patience, forgiveness, and hard work. I was wrong. I'm in my mid-40s. I married my wife 12 years ago. She had a daughter from a previous relationship who was 8 at the time. I stepped into their lives ready to build something solid. I paid the bills, paid for private school, braces, vacations, cars, and everything in between. I never tried to replace her biological father, but I was always there. Practices, parent-teacher meetings, late-night pickups, emergency calls. As she grew older, her attitude shifted. She stopped calling me by my name and started calling me the card. Then it became walking wallet. Eventually, she openly laughed and called me her personal ATM. My wife never corrected her. She would smile and say she is just joking. I swallowed it because I loved my wife and I wanted peace at home. That pattern defined our marriage. The cheating started about 4 years in. The first time I found flirty messages. Tears followed, promises followed. She said she felt neglected. I forgave her. The second time was physical. She swore it was a mistake. Therapy, counseling, forgiveness, again. The third time I found out because someone sent me screenshots anonymously. By then I was exhausted, but she begged. She told me I was the only stable thing in her life. I stayed. When her daughter got engaged, I was expected to pay. Not asked, expected. Destination wedding in Hawaii. Oceanfront venue. Luxury hotel. Cultural dancers. Fireworks. I wrote checks without complaint. Over $40,000 by the time it was done. I told myself it was worth it to see her happy. 3 weeks before the wedding, my wife said she would handle the flights. She said it was easier if she booked them together. I trusted her. That was my mistake. The night before the trip, I asked for my boarding pass. She froze. Then she laughed awkwardly and said she must have forgotten to finalize mine. She said it was a system error. She said I could catch the next flight the day after the wedding. Something felt wrong. I checked the booking confirmation myself. There were 3 tickets. My wife, my stepdaughter, and a man whose name I recognized instantly. One of the men she had sworn was just a friend during one of her earlier affairs. She did not forget my ticket. She replaced me. When I confronted her, she did not even deny it. She said her daughter wanted someone meaningful to walk her down the aisle. She said it would look better. She said I would understand because I am mature. I realized in that moment I was never a husband or a stepfather to them. I was funding. Nothing more. They flew out without me. I stayed home and watched videos online of another man walking my stepdaughter down the aisle while wearing a suit I paid for. I watched my wife beam at him like a proud partner. I watched guests cheer. 2 days later, my stepdaughter called me, not to apologize. She asked for honeymoon expenses. She said the resort was more expensive than expected, and the card was declining. She laughed and said, "Come on, ATM, don't be dramatic." I said no. That was the first time I ever told her no. I contacted a lawyer the next morning. When my wife found out I filed for divorce, the mask came off completely. She told me she would bleed me dry. She said she would accuse me of financial abuse. She said she would ruin my reputation. She said she knew how the courts worked and that men always lose. The divorce process was brutal. She tried to drain joint accounts. Too late. I had already separated finances. She tried to claim I promised lifelong support to her daughter. No legal standing. She tried to say I emotionally abandoned her. I had years of therapy records showing reconciliation attempts. She tried to turn family against me. I showed receipts, messages, timelines. In court, she demanded alimony far beyond reason. My lawyer dismantled it point by point. Her multiple affairs mattered. Her misuse of marital funds mattered. Her decision to replace me at the wedding mattered. The judge was not impressed. The divorce took almost a year. Motions, delays, threats, tears in the hallway, smirks when she thought I was alone. Every tactic failed. In the end, I walked away financially intact. No alimony, clean split, assets divided fairly, no contact order approved. I blocked both of them everywhere. 6 months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that the marriage I paid for collapsed. The affair partner left. The honeymoon debt followed. Suddenly, there was no ATM. I sleep peacefully now. I learned the hard way that forgiveness without boundaries is not kindness. It is self-destruction. After the divorce was finalized, I thought it was finally over. I was wrong. The first attempt came quietly, a long email at 2 in the morning. No subject line, just paragraphs about regret, loneliness, and how divorce changes people. She said therapy opened her eyes. She said she missed our routines. She said I was the only man who ever truly supported her. Not once did she apologize for the wedding. I did not reply. A week later, she showed up at my sister's house unannounced. Crying, shaking, saying she had nowhere else to go. She told my sister I was being cruel and cold, that I abandoned her after she made a single mistake. My sister called me immediately. I forwarded screenshots, dates, receipts. The story collapsed fast. Then came my phone lighting up from unknown numbers. Cousins, old friends. Even one of my coworkers pulled me aside and said she reached out asking him to talk sense into me. She painted herself as a woman discarded after years of loyalty. I stopped explaining. I sent one message to everyone with a timeline and told them I was done discussing it. That is when she escalated. She filed a motion claiming I hid income during the divorce. She wanted a review. She wanted leverage. The court date was set. I showed up calm. My lawyer brought bank statements, tax filings, and disclosures already approved months earlier. The judge barely let her finish speaking before dismissing it. He warned her about wasting the court's time. Outside the courtroom, she snapped. She said this was not over. She said she would find something, anything. Around that time, her daughter tried a different angle. She messaged me pretending nothing happened. She joked. She asked how work was. Then she slid into asking for help because married life was expensive and her husband was stressed. She said, family supports, family. I blocked her without responding. 2 months later, the truth surfaced without me even looking for it. A mutual acquaintance told me she was seeing someone new, not casually, full-blown relationship, while still telling people she wanted reconciliation, while telling family she was heartbroken and alone, while trying to pull me back in emotionally. I did not confront her. I changed my number. I updated my will. I sold the house and moved. The last attempt came through a formal letter from her attorney asking if I would consider mediation for emotional closure. I laughed for the first time in months. I declined through my lawyer and instructed him to respond that any further contact would be considered harassment. Silence followed. Real silence. No emails, no messages, no court filings, no family pressure. Just quiet. I started sleeping better. I started traveling. I spent money on myself for the first time in years without guilt. I realized how heavy my life had been carrying people who only saw me as a resource. Walking away was not dramatic. It was peaceful. And this time, it was permanent.